Alright, what's up everybody? We are here with a banging series from the weekly ESL Open, and we have two of the big prospects playing. We've got MaxPax up here in the top left side. It is, of course, representing Slicedome Gaming, the best Protoss player in Denmark, and some would say the best Protoss player in Europe as well. Him and Showtime have kind of wrestled over that trophy for a while, but Showtime being at the top much longer. MaxPax, the young genius, of course, working his way up the ranks, no longer just a guy that Beastie Cutie's talking about his genius build order from many years ago. Not that anymore. He's playing against Elazer. Now, a lot of people might think MaxPax is a big favorite, and definitely, I think, on paper, overall rating-wise, he is. But Elazer may be one of the most underrated players in the world right now. People keep being surprised when some of these Korean players come out of the woodworks. DRG when he came back, but think about like Bunny, think about Creator at the moment. These guys who are just destroying. People are like, wow, these guys are really good. Elazer should be on people's lips a lot more. He is, of course, here with Team Liquid now, which is awesome. And he's such a bloody strong player. I picked up Elazer for the Casters Civil War, and he was the best pick. He destroyed so many top tier players so well. His ZVP especially is something that I always feel he's at the cutting edge of. Now, the problem with Elazer in this matchup is that he thinks about things in a very structured way. And if his opponent can get the correct read on him, they can trick him. And that's the scary thing, because MaxPax is very clever, and I worry that he may be able to trick him. Now, you guys are going to notice this is Cosmic Sapphire, one of the new maps. This was, of course, the Weekly Cup. I believe the first Weekly Cup where we actually played the new map pool. So I'm also really curious not only to see Elazer's ZVP, how MaxPax deals with it, but also how are they going to play these new maps. This map is huge, by the way. It's got a big spread on the top side of the map. I believe there's a rich gas base up here. Yeah, there's a rich gas 8 mineral patch base up there and a gold base in the bottom left side of the map. Now you'll notice there's lots of stuff here that blocks movement, but there is a path once you take these rocks down straight across, natural to natural. But lots of different nice wall-off areas and that sort of stuff. Link speed is on the way here, as Elazer will be moving down to take a third in the near future. Adept into a Stargate. Very just solid and chilled out opening for MaxPax. Notice no chrono on the Adept though, guys. What does that tell us? It tells us that MaxPax is going to be greedy AF. So he has already dropped another chrono. I believe that was a second chrono on his probes in the main, but we're also going to see a third and maybe even a fourth one, and then he'll chrono the Oracle. So you see here, chrono on the probes. Now this makes a big difference. If you chrono your early Adepts out, it does force the Zerg to build a few more Zerglings. But notice MaxPax is focused on information denial. These Zerglings are hoping they see an Adept leave so they can run in. But the Adept just on the defense, and he's already chronoed those probes. You can see he's got an extra chrono saved up in the main. So he's going to instantly chrono the Oracle. 150 gas there. And do we drop another chrono on the natural? I think we do. Or is he going to save it for the next Oracle? Really? Okay. Okay, interesting to see. MaxPax there. Makes a huge difference, guys, in terms of how you focus your build order, where your chrono boosts go. It's kind of the same thing. It's like a real advanced thing that you don't focus on as a beginner. But like with Terran players, if you're basically often hitting points in your build where you can't afford to build SCVs and Marines and Hellions and stuff at the same time, and you can prioritize, like if you're trying to hit the sharpest, most powerful, aggressive timing, you skip a few seconds of SCV production to get the extra Marines queued up. And it means you have less workers, but you have a few more units when that attack timing comes. It's kind of the same here. If you're not chronoing the Adepts out, I mean, there's no pressure on the Zerg at all. But look at your probe count. No pressure on the Zerg. Doesn't matter. Still up a couple of workers already. Third base goes down. Now, Elazer is very good at managing his economy. He's very good at skipping Spore Crawlers, and that's my favorite thing about him. We call it the Polish Gambit, because Elazer's been known for popularizing this. He does build one Spore in the main, but he doesn't have a Queen up there right now. No Queen definitely does mean it's a little vulnerable. Now, notice the whole trick here is actually having drones on the third, safely mining. That's what he's just done so well. And look at his Ring of Overlord vision. Perfect Ring of Overlord vision. So he just moves the Queens to respond, and he's building 3 more Queens. He's going 8 Queens already. Wow, Elazer going Mass Queen. And it's a second Stargate for MaxPax. Wow, okay. All right, so MaxPax, he's not starting +1 air weapons because he doesn't want to give away what he's doing. Otherwise, if you come up, you see Warp Gate's already transformed, and then you see the Cybercore spinning, you know he's going into heavy air. So it's so easy for a Zergling to run up and see that. And this is why a lot of players going double Stargate have stopped going for the +1 air weapons. Also, you need a shitload of gas to build 2 carriers or 2 Tempests, so that is pretty big. Oracles run in, they kill 2 drones only, and then the Oracle gets pushed back. This is fantastic defense by Elazer so far. Now, don't get me wrong. I said MaxPax isn't isn't really leaning into it. He's not chronoing Adepts. He's only made 2 Oracles, not 3. Nonetheless, he's done piss all damage. And these queens, their movement is just so slow. Look at that. 3 queens on the right, 4 on the left. You got to be careful there, MaxPax. You're going to get cornered. Oh my god, the Oracle almost goes down. These Adepts come in. There's plenty of Zerglings to deal with that, though. But the first carrier starts up. Second one, 350, 250 is what you need for that, guys. And there we go, double chrono on those carriers, 64 seconds till they're out. Now, the lair is exceptionally late, Elazer following the EU macro virgin way of playing. Now, you guys have heard me talk about the 2 different styles of PvZ. EU players are much better at getting their worker counts up very early, super fast 4th bases. They always get that down by 5:30, often at 5 minutes, you'll see Serral drop it. Whereas the Korean players, and that's the style I favor, is all about the quick lair. So you have faster roach speed, faster Nidus potential. You can drop a very early Spire, but you just don't have as much economy. So the Korean players, the Zergs are often much more forced to find damage, whereas the EU Zergs are kind of like, dude, I'm going to have 80 drones so early. Have fun dealing with that. Now, with such a late Spire, the Spire hasn't even started. I do feel Elazer, he hasn't even got a lair finish yet. He does have 8 queens, so I mean, you can defend 2 carriers with 8 queens. He's building 2 more. He's going to see the carriers come out, and that's going to be good information for him. He's going to run to the left side and say, you know what, let's pick off some probes, maybe attack the Stalker in the wall. If we can keep these carriers back, that's really good in of itself. Spire does go down. His 4th base is up 78 workers versus 71. MaxPax does have a Twilight and a Forge, so he's going to make a ground transition from there. And where does he take his 4th? I think he's going to take it up to the right, but... oh, I like this. He says, look, fighting Zealots against the battery overcharge ain't going to do much, but... grab a pylon, get on out of there. Not too bad. Oracle and a handful of Zealots defending. The carriers are here. Oh, he launches Interceptors on the rocks, trying to get those out, but ends up just sacrificing them. Pull back the Queen. Transfuse. You got to pull back the Queen that's getting targeted, guys. Oh, Elazer doesn't give a shit. He's like, dude, I have so much transfuse. That pussy micro ain't needed here, mate. But, this is MaxPax's special move, guys. He just walks past and focuses the drones. He might get punished for it, though. You can't be affording to lose the carrier. Oh my god, the carrier's so low. He only gets 3 drones there, but yeah. So that's a move. I was criticizing someone else was playing this exact same style the other week, and they sat next to a mineral line killing overlords. If you shift click the drones and they don't have enough queens, you can kill a whole mineral line so quickly, and that's where the big damage potential is. As it is, though, Elazer defends fantastically well. I do wonder if those carriers should have gone in the main. Queens aren't that mobile, so if you can get past and then focus down 8 or 9 drones, that would be huge. Infestation Pit is here for Elazer. He's going up into melee. Roach speed starts up. And there is a 4th base on the way there for MaxPax. So far, we've seen 15 Zerglings go down. I mean, units lost tab. Better for the Zerg than the Protoss. And he's got a gold base up in the bottom left. And at 98 workers, I told you the EU macro virgin styles don't have a problem with their economy. How often at the 8-minute mark do you see Dark or Rogue sitting on 66 workers, right? And you're like, wow, man, they don't have a lot of money. But then they're good at smacking a bitch. The problem with a Elazer style, as good as the economy is can he actually leverage that early enough, right? Has he waited too long? That's the question here. Now, the Oracle sees, okay, there's Corruptors coming. I've got 4 carriers. I've got Archons. Archons destroy. Disruptors are coming in as well. He's already got a firm set of balls there, and he's adding even more. 100 drones! I think Elazer's waiting too long. I don't think there's any reason why he should let this 4th base get up. In my mind, he should be able to do a big Corruptor Roach Ravager Ling timing off like 80 drones. And I think that would be so powerful. Like, where's his Overlord speed? He hasn't made Overlord speed. A lot of his supplies in Queens, which without Overlord speed or a Nidus Worm cannot really be aggressive. He's going to come down here and defend these Zealots. Zealots are going to find this gold base. And don't get me wrong, MaxPax is feeling pretty bad about the money differential right now. But I've seen MaxPax do such fantastic late game. That's why I'm worried for Elazer, even though everything's pointing to Elazer being fundamentally ahead on the economy. I'm like, oh man, where are the roaches at, bro? Hello? Oh no, Elazer! What are we doing, bud? Oh my god, Elazer messing up against a Zealot run by here. His Corruptors are hunting right now. They are very horny Corruptors. Horny Corruptors! For those who don't know, some of you may have grown up playing Hungry Hippos. Abathur has given the Zerg children a very different game. It's a little creepy, some would say, but I feel like it really fits the Zerg vs Protoss motif of you need to trade with them earlier rather than later. You need to get over there and start trading. Right now, MaxPax is letting his supply catch up, and I feel like has Elazer done enough? With his army, Roaches, Corruptors, Queens, these are all bad units in the long term. They're really good if you're defending in an all-in. They're really good for trading in the mid game. But how is he going to get value out of these units while transitioning into the later stage? I don't think it's massive advantage for MaxPax. I just think it's a scary position for Elazer. And now as this push comes through, his Corruptors are out of position. Oh god, he's got to get those Corruptors back. He's got to come focus those carriers down. Big push coming. Get home, Elazer. Elazer does take down a Nexus. He wants to grab these carriers as they pop, but he's got to watch out. There's a Prism in his main as well. Oh my god. This is a pretty scary ball of douchebaggery here. Elazer wanted those carriers as they pop, but they don't quite pop in time. He's going to have to come back and help defend. Roach's spine struggling up against this. A big ball does land. 3 of those queens take a big nut to the face. I mean, they take it like champions. You can tell those queens have taken that one before. The Corruptors will come in from behind. They're not being microed. Oh no, Elazer, get out of there. Elazer's distracted by the Zealots in his main. Oh no, he's losing a lot of Corruptors. The Archons, so deadly there. 6 drones have gone down in the main base. I feel like that gold base in the bottom left gave a good income advantage to Elazer, but the Zealot run-bys there seem to have thrown him off a little. The Corruptors need to move over and shut this Prism down. MaxPax here, I'm telling you, never sleep on MaxPax because he's so just calm and methodical at moving through these later stages. I do think his upgrades suck ass. He's only now adding +2 air attacks, which is not great, but Elazer had enough money to just survive all that and still have a good economy. He's building 6 Ultras. He's still got 10 Roaches, which I'd like to see him just throw away in a run-by. Just run them into the natural or something. Get rid of them. He does unzip his fly, though. And I'm telling you, man, there's nothing more furious than a Polish man coming in from that winter cold and using your base as his public urinal. Very well played. Does take down yet another Nexus. MaxPax does not have a lot of bank to rely on. It's mostly an Archon carrier army. The Queen Ultra will destroy this army if he can just, you know, spam transfuses if it's on creep. Vipers are here. I kind of, man, the Roach is a bad supply. That's the only problem. That's the only thing I really don't like about Elazer Spot. He's building 8 more drones. He wants to have unlimited money. Archon's coming forward. Abduct's really good for just pulling those Archons to their death. And yeah, there we go. He's like, hey, 2 Archons, thank you. And that one should go down as well. Maybe it's a little faster. The Ultras are just slightly faster, I believe. But with the anabolic synthesis not quite done, couldn't quite catch that other Archon. We've got the Roaches finally getting chucked away. Like I said, you want to get rid of them. Big waste of supply. They just don't do enough damage for their supply cost. But Ultra Corruptor is a really good composition for defending on creep, but it's hard to fight your opponent around cannons and batteries and all that sort of stuff. So definitely something he's got to be a little worried about. He's going to force some Zealot warp-ins there. Looks like 2 Ultras hitting that top right, not too bad. I don't think Ultras are affected by stasis traps if memory serves. And here we go, going to abduct another Archon in, but ooh, is this the right fight? I do not know. Archon, Ultra's taking out stuff up there. Roach is microing around so we can get more value out of those later. Really good run-bys by Elazer here. I've been talking about Ultras just being the sickest late game play and general play for the current meta where Protoss players don't have many Immortals. The problem is the longer you sit on Ultra Corruptor, guys, they do get counted. So Storm does counter, oh, he forgot to make Storm. MaxPax forgot to make Psystorm, but Storm, Archons, and Void Rays all counter, and he starts up the Psystorm. The Corruptors. Immortals counter the Ultras as well. Now you might be like, well, you can Blinding Cloud or abduct the Immortals out of their army and kill them really quickly. That can be really powerful. Problem, feedback counters the Vipers. If you give the Protoss enough time, they kind of have all the answers to all of these Zerg pieces. Now, don't get me wrong. If you can get a good angle, the Ultras can kill the High Templar and overwhelm and swarm over them. But it does get very difficult to do that the more time you give the Protoss to add static defense everywhere, to trade out these low efficiency units like Stalkers for higher efficiency ones, all that sort of stuff. And I like that he's keeping this squad here, because if he can kill the Cybercore, that's where +3 air attack will be being made. And he definitely wants to get rid of that. Not many air upgrades being done just yet for Elazer. These Banelings going to go in and basically tickle the Archons. Oh, an Archon there does survive. Ultras in the top right do go in. Ultras very good for smashing static D. You can see the Corruptor Viper here is looking for those carriers, but there's only 13 Corruptors. So that's the sort of squad where you abduct a carrier and it still takes you... I think he can 2-shot. I think 13 Corruptors should be able to 2-shot a carrier. Let's find out. He's looking for it, but good feedbacks. Ultras do punish by taking some of them down, and yep, he does 2-shot a carrier. Can he get some more? Vipers run into their death. Ultras run into their death. He does get 2 carriers. Big Ling army there will automatically deal with those Zealots in the bottom left side, and we do see those Queens still hanging out in the middle. This is part of the problem the Zerg has, is those 14 Queens, that's 28 supply that you can't really move off creep with, so I love that he's respreading his creep on that side, but he really needs to keep the creep spread here, get some more active tumors spreading out here. And, oh, he will be able to unzip his fly once again. I'm telling you, man. I guess it's summertime over there. Maybe they do pee even more caustically in summer. I was saying wintertime. It's winter down here in Australia right now as I cast this, guys. I guess it's actually warm up there in Poland anyway. Long story short, Polish man piss is powerful. They call it Polish power, you know? The powerful PP. Ling Roach is still there. Bank advantage mostly disappeared at this point. +3 arrows on the way. Plasma shields on the way. Lings are going to try to run in. Ain't going to find Jack. If he can just turn those all into speed banes, click them in the mineral lines, that's where he can start to get in. If he can bust this wall, that would be good, but cannons and batteries abound. No, he does have bane speed now. He does have bane speed. 3/3's almost done for the ground. Okay, that's good. Gets a prism. He'd like to kill a carrier. Doesn't really get anything done there. Of course, Storm is going to scare him off pretty well. Yeah. Elazer. I'm surprised MaxPax isn't storming that. Banelings do roll in. They're not really going to kill much. They're just kind of damaging the static a little bit. Yeah, he's going to clear some of it out. Battery overcharge could go down, but not going to be used just yet. Archons will come over to defend. MaxPax trying to take this base is getting hilarious at this point. MaxPax is like, well, I can't move from this top area. Maybe I could secure this base, but we're seeing the problem on this map with, like, it's very hard to expand down here and up here at the same time. And, ooh, nice little Baneling run by. He's going to kill a few of these workers. That rich gas wants to deny that as long as he possibly can. Lots more Lings and Ultras coming in. Very good trades for Elazer, who's been more efficient than MaxPax in this game. But you know what? MaxPax says, okay, screw it. Let's do the old swappity swap. I'm going to let you kill that side. Oh, the Ultras weren't on A move. Otherwise, they might have caught those High Templar. You could tell MaxPax realized he kind of screwed up, but both players kind of stumbling into each other a little bit there. Oh, MaxPax Pro Browl. He just gets slaughtered by the Ultras. MaxPax is desperate right now. I feel like, yeah, he's kind of feeling all in at this point. The battery overcharge will go down. Ultras do really well versus Zealots, guys. Everything that's not Immortals, the Ultra destroys from the Protoss, right, on the ground. Everything that's not Immortals get kind of smashed. The Ultras trade really well. And big Immortal Archon army, though. 6 Immortals, 9 Archons, 7 carriers. Get out of there, Queens. I think, honestly, you got to fall back, gather your forces together. And he's really got to pick his fight correctly. I don't know if he can stop this army. He doesn't have Broodlords. I think Broodlords are the counter here, right? He doesn't have them. He's got some Infestors, but they're not ready with energy yet. Banelings ain't going to do diddly squat. The Storms, I mean, they crash into the front few Banelings, and that's it. Parasitic Bomb goes in. He's going to try and maybe take him out with the Corruptors. The Banelings coming in more and more than the Infestors don't quite have that neural parasite energy yet. And I think MaxPax there with just too big an army, given too much time to max on out, needed the Broodlords to start sieging that ground army from further back. And I mean, dying with 4,500 minerals, 3,000 gas in the bank always hurts, but I think this comes back to the point of he left it a bit too long. The early stage, and this is the one thing that I love the EU economy. And I think they're so much better at building the economy. So before we go to game 2, I just want to do a very quick rewind, guys. The EU players are much better at building the economy. The Koreans are much better at building the I'm going to kill you maneuver while having a shit economy and being objectively way behind in the game. I feel like there's got to be some hardcore middle ground where you can just balance both. And I think this 98 drones is just more than is necessary. And I guess part of it is, hey, you're building 14 queens as well. I really feel like, for me, getting Overlord speed and just do a big queen, Corruptor, Roach, Ravager attack seems like the right way to play. But you've got to realize as well that MaxPax is blindly building disruptors here. So if you do an 8-minute 30, 9-minute Queen, Roach, Corruptor push, you are running into the counter. I just feel like numbers-wise, 1 or 2 disruptors isn't going to stop a maxed out army. So that's what I would have liked to see from Elazer. Stop at 80, 85 drones. Just 4 bases full is enough. You can start the 5th, but don't drone it kind of thing. And I would love to see him try to trade with MaxPax a little bit earlier. There's part of me that says, hey, build 20 muters instead of 15 corruptors and hide them and then try to sneak in and just start doing damage. And then as he builds Phoenix, you build corruptors and just play Skyzerg. But I know that is very dicey against someone as good as MaxPax, because he's got such good play at scouting that out and being ready for it. Interesting to see, though. I really thought Elazer had such an economic advantage he was going to win this game. MaxPax, though, ever dangerous. Let's go to game 2, see if Elazer can drag this back. Alright, let's go. Game number 2. We got MaxPax in the top right side, looking fantastic. Great comeback in that last game. We're gonna go into Tropical Sacrifice. Elazer in the bottom left, and I really, you know, after my criticism at the end of that last game, I'm like, oh man, couldn't he have killed him earlier? Maybe, but that map's really big. It's hard to attack on that map. I understand why Elazer tried to play for the late game, and yeah, I do wonder if given a redo of that, how does he change it up? Is it Broodlords? I mean, Lurkers or Broodlords seem like, when your opponent gets like 8 Archons, 5 Immortals, 3-4 Disruptors behind, and 7 Carriers, you need to have such a sick army to deal with that. And the Queens are just not that amazing for it. They definitely can help, especially if you've got like, say, 10 Broodlords, and you're like machine gun transfusing them so the Carriers can't really kill them too quickly. That can be pretty good. Neuroparasiting the Archons can be massive as well if the Disruptors can't hit you. But it becomes really difficult, and I think what happened in that last game is Elazer wore MaxPax's economy down. The problem was that allowed MaxPax to steadily replace his probe losses with army. Oh, I'll add in a few more Archons, and at the end there, he was up maybe 30, 40 army supply on top of having the better quality army. So it becomes very difficult in that scenario, and even if there are Broodlords, you gotta remember what MaxPax would have done is he would have literally just shoved in, moved his army, so his Archons would be clearing the Broodlings very quickly with their splash damage and pushing through, and he would just shift click down all of the Broodlords. So if those Broodlords don't like quickly stutter step backwards or something, they can disappear so quickly, and because there's splash damage in the form of so many Archons, they're just clearing the Broodlings and breaking through. They're not doing that much damage, the Broodlings that is. The Disruptors throwing out their balls, which can be massive. And remember, Microbial Shroud does not protect Broodlords from Carriers. It only protects ground units from Carriers. So these are all the issues with that late game scenario where like the ability to throw out a few defensive fungals to stop the Carriers from getting in range of the Broodlord. So maybe only 1 or 2 Carriers get in range. Really big. If you can fungal the Protoss army, the Protoss doesn't have as much freedom with how he moves about, right? He can't get his Disruptors as far forward to throw those Disruptors into your backline of Infestors and Queens either. How those fights get set up is monumentally important. And I was talking a lot about how Ultras are so good against all these Protoss armies. If there's no Immortals in there, you can just aim over like 10 Ultras. They'll kill all the Archons and High Templar. Easy peasy. You add those 5 Immortals in there, and it's a no-go. Unless you land really good Blinding Clouds on that army and get a good surface area with your Ultras, you will get overwhelmed. Now, that's a lot of theory talk, so let's keep talking about what's in front of you, because I know if we just talk about theoretical scenarios, I see it very clearly in my brain as someone who's played this game 400,000 times, has cast about 100,000 tournament matches at this point as well. It might be a bit harder for you guys to simulate it in your brains as well as me. So hopefully that didn't get too rambly. I hope some of you kept up with what I was explaining and followed it. I do try to explain things simply most of the time. Every now and then I'm deep into this explanation where I'm kind of thinking out loud and I'm like, I don't know if anyone's following anything I'm saying. Let's ease it back and talk about what's on the screen a bit more, Piggy. So any aspiring commentators out there, try to remember that most of your viewers are not sitting there writing notes on the game while they're watching. That's something I gotta remind myself sometimes. I'm like, you know, not every person is gonna be watching the game studying the exact down to the second timing the Oracle hits the mineral line. Neither am I. When I'm watching, I'm usually just listening to Tasteosis have a good bit of banter about their favorite Nintendo games, so let's be real. Oracles are going to come in, gets deflected once again, guys, skips the Spore, skips... Oh no, he does go Spore in the natural this time, but notice no Spore in the third, because he's got that beautiful Ring of Overlord vision. That's what I love about Elazer's play. It's just his fundamentals in his opening. I think Elazer is probably one of the best Zergs players could learn from in terms of their openings. His openings are so consistent and tight. Oi, oh, no. Oh, that Overlord just having a little throbby perv over there. He says, yeah, can't reach me. Stalker going to be a little annoyed at that one. Notice on this map, the pillar is pretty far away from the natural already. So it doesn't even see the front of the base. But it does mean the Overlord gets to safety a little bit easier there. We've got Oracles down there. Lair, Roachwarren. Double Forge! Oh, MaxPax is playing Double Forge. Now, this style I've talked about is really weak against a Roach Max, guys. Because this is the style. You get a fast third, you go Double Forge, you get a handful of Stalkers, you take a fourth base. But there's this point around 8 minutes to 9 minutes where the Protoss is like, I have 15 to 20 Blink Stalkers. and the Zerg can be maxed out on like 60 roaches. Solar did this when MaxPax was first learning this double upgrade build, and Solar just absolutely butchered him on Glittering Ashes with a max of roaches and queens walking across the map. And we've got Overlord speed on the way, so definitely feels like Elazer might be mixing that one in. Lings coming in for the Adepts around. Very nice trading so far. The Oracles were all the way on the other side of the map. Uh-oh, that one Zealot has a lot of work cut out for him. He could easily click this shield battery. Oh, this is a fantastic Ling Flood from Elazer. He's got 2 Overlords on the way behind this as well. So this is just meant to distract, keep MaxPax vision back. Meanwhile, he's got the taxi going. It's the German taxi, guys. I'm telling you, Elazer is a man of many flavors. He may have pioneered the Polish Gambit. He may have pioneered the Warsaw subway, which is where you do this, but with a Nidus Worm and pop your queens out of it. But right now, he's going to go for Lambo's build, the German taxi. And that is, of course, 8 queens into speed overlords. The Ling's still trying to keep the vision back. Every time he pulls the oracles back, he delays MaxPax seeing what's happening. MaxPax is like, what the hell's going on, man? And these double upgrades, the charge. Oh, he's going double upgrade charge, not even blink, which is a very good style if you can get enough zealots together. And that is a big if as the Lings come in first round. The oracles have so much energy banked up, but they've already burnt through a fair bit of it. And those 8 queens are coming out. This overlord's already dropping a poo-poo at the front. The queens are going to drop inside the wall. Oh my god, that's so many queens. There's no way you could wall off there. Look at this. The zealots are coming in from behind. Transfusers on the roaches, though, can be very powerful here. More roaches and ravagers coming across. And funnily enough, the oracles did micro very well to avoid those queens. Yet nonetheless, those 8 queens up there, it's huge. The 1-1 upgrades are about to kick in. And +1 armor kicks in, +1 attack's about to kick in. Guess what? MaxPax is already dead, though. There's already mass queen roach ravager all over him. Elazer realizing this was all about keeping the Protoss vision at home. He waited for the oracles to fly to his side of the map, and then he would run in with his Zerglings. He did not just run in willy-nilly. It was the attention to detail on this opening that is allowing him to crack the wall. He made it so MaxPax could not see this coming. He did not have any warning of it. And it's all about the focus in the details. There's so many players will look at this and be like, oh, he just A-moved some Lings and then he just put some queens in an overlord. No. He waited with those Zerglings. He chose the perfect time. He pulled them away, let the oracles go across the map, then went back in with another wave of Zerglings. And then, completely by surprise, MaxPax just sees these 8 queens drop trousers in his natural. And bam, Elazer's got a point on the board. All right, guys, let's go to game 3. MaxPax here in the top right. It's going to go down. He's blocked the expansion. We're going on to Data C this time. That's right. We are on Data C. And Elazer in the bottom left side going out to take that third. This map has some really good defensive points. We are on the bottom of the ocean. There are little crab beetles everywhere, which are absolutely adorable. Look at them with their little nippy nippies. He's like, oh, yeah, a little crab beetle, bro. Yum, 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 yum. Very adorable. I do like as well that there are these beautiful cracks with like light shimmering out of them that you can kind of see it popping out from under the hatchery there. This green light shows you where to expand. Nice noob friendly map feature design, which most maps have that these days, which is awesome. Nexus goes down after Cybercore. Guys, Cybercore before Nexus. Oh, he's going to chrono 2 Adepts across this map, is he? So MaxPax here is going to go a lot more aggressive. Remember, I was pointing out his early chrono boosts. Now let's see how Elazer adapts to this. I struggle with this opening a lot. The Overlord should realize that Cybercore already being finished when the Nexus isn't even halfway done. And a chrono on the Adepts. You're going to need to build more Zerglings. Now, Elazer, I think, normally would want to go Creep Tumor first, but I actually don't think you can defend that from this Adept. This Adept gets across the map really quickly. So he's got to be careful. He might get his tumor sniped, and we'll need to build a few more Zerglings. Ling speed is on the way, pulling everyone off gas right now. You also want to make sure that the Adept can't block your expansion. So you do want to get that expansion started just before the Adept gets in there. 4 more Lings are on the way. Now, there is a second gateway. Oh, he's doing an NA build order. Oh, Patty Mac somewhere out there is very excited. He's like, yo, MaxPax is doing my build. To be fair, he probably got it from MaxPax. But anyways, the Adept is going to shade in. Good micro by Elazer so far. Does only lose 1 Zergling. Adept shades forward. Third hatch has started. Second Adept is here. He can join those up definitely for some trouble. I like that Elazer went for the inject. And he actually did the creep tumor in the main. Cute adjustment. Adept does get a second kill. Bit of a nuisance here. As Elazer, very hard to not fall behind in drones in this scenario, but he's got his Overlord on time, so he's not going to be supply blocked on 36 for too long. As soon as that Overlord pops, he does need to hold down that drone key. There we go. 5 more drones are on the way, and there is a Twilight, but it's a delayed Twilight because he's gone 2 gates, right? So the idea with this build is you can keep making adepts off the 2 gates, and you can do a few in-between pressures. What do you mean by an in-between pressure? Well, normally, guys, you might have the 2 adepts, but then there's no pressure at all until you have 6, 7, 8 plus adepts with glaives. But with the second gateway here, you can start warping in 2 adepts, and then another 2 adepts, and you can have 6 adepts going across really early. They won't have resonating glaives yet. They won't have a warp prism, but it's going to force the Zerg to build units a lot earlier than they want to, right? And that's the whole point here is you've got, and even actually 3 gates already up. So he can go, yeah, okay, let's move out. Look at this. He's got a 5th adept there. His other gateways will be ready. Does he wait for him? No, he's just going to do a little in-between pressure in a moment. Glaives is now starting up. So the trick here is Elazer doesn't have his Roach Warren yet. He doesn't have any of that tech up. He doesn't know what his opponent's even doing behind this just yet. So he's actually got a Spore Crawler. He now drops a Roach Warren. He's gone for 5 queens, going up to 6 queens. He now sees these adepts coming, and you can kind of trigger the Zerg into like building a billion Zerglings, and then your adepts just go home, and you come back with way more adepts with glaives, and indeed, way more 6-gate glaive adept follow-up. This is going to be a massive, and look at that, 16 Zerglings building. Lings suck against glaive adepts. If you can surround these adepts, it'll be great for you as a Elazer, but as it is, you're stopping on a very low worker count. You've only got 1 gas, which is a huge problem. He'll need more gas to deal with this. But look at this great scouting from Elazer. He sees no 3rd base at 440. He's got to hold that Roach key down, and he needs a 2nd gas geyser, or he's not going to be able to keep up any sort of follow-up. Now he's sending his Lings around. Warp Prism is arriving. Does not want to send his Lings across the map. Elazer's got to be careful. He's still building. He just built 14 more Lings. That needed to be Roaches, mate. Oh, he's massing Queen Ling. This is completely the wrong response, in my opinion, guys. He's building drones now, still no 2nd gas. I think Elazer has a misread of what's going on. He should know that this is, I think he thinks it's a Phoenix transition. I think he thinks it might be a Phoenix transition. Now he sees its glaives, and he's like, whoa, give up the 3rd, pull back, inject the natural, have my queens here ready. He's got enough Lings. I don't think this Shade can finish. Obviously, that would get destroyed, but he can go after the 3rd hatch. It's really hard for Elazer to defend all this. His Roaches aren't ready. Elazer's got to keep those Lings back, otherwise the Shade will be deadly. Queens are going to go forward. The Lings and the Roaches easily going to deflect that one. Let's see how it goes from here. Okay, cancel on the Shade. Nice transfusers going down, but already a Queen falling. Another Queen does go down. Yeah, he's got to pull back so those Adepts can't focus fire. Roaches and Queens here trying to hang on. And what was that in the main? It looks like 4 Adepts walked in. They did take out 5 drones. These Adepts getting in a nice position, but Elazer with a good wraparound on that side. MaxPax does not have a 3rd behind this. He's up on 3 casters. He does not have any Immortals. He doesn't have any follow-up units. He needs to do more damage than this. He has managed to force Elazer's drones away, though, and that is very big. The Adept working this, Adept Prism working this giant angle over here is actually quite large. Those 2 Adepts could still be a nuisance. Elazer's got to get some Queens up here on this edge. Having the Overlord missing in this area, so he can't really see what the Prism is doing, it's really hurting him right now. He's down to just 37 drones as well. He needs to hold that drone key down. Why? 4th gas is up. It's going to be mining the moment MaxPax decides to put on that. Robo Bay's on the way. MaxPax's only problem right now is he doesn't have a 3rd started. If he could start that, Elazer would have so much pressure on him. Elazer's still building Zerglings right now, which I find absolutely fascinating. I think he needs to stop this base from going up. Nice Ling! That Ling does deny that. But there's still a lot of Adepts out here. He's still warping in Adepts! He's still warping in Adepts! Oh, man. I mean, Elazer's got a lot of Lings, so he can deny a 3rd, but little does he know, he's just going to be all in behind this. More Lings and Roaches are on the way. Lings are not what he needs right now. He needs more Roaches. Lings are not going to stop these Adepts, mate. It's all about the Roaches. You got to get some of that Roach Vom on your opponent's face. Uh-oh, another warp in there. Lings are going to try and breach the natural, but MaxPax walling off so far. Queens and Roaches trying to defend. Roaches in the main trying to hang on. The drones are all like, God, where can we hide, bro? The Lings will start breaching that wall, but it's going to take a while to kick in. And not having those units at home is really going to hurt him. I feel like Elazer assumed MaxPax would expand behind this. Little did he realize MaxPax is committed. Meanwhile, the wall is going to fall, but the Adepts are there in time. Those Adepts will defend. 11 more workers go down. Great recall from MaxPax to preserve some of his unit count. And Elazer is still massing Zerglings against a guy on mass Adepts. And that is a big problem because they are not going to scale well. He also has no lair. Oh, no. Guys, he's going to be dealing with Disruptor drops out of a Speed Prism. And he doesn't even have a lair started, which means no Roach speed. Have you guys, even on creep, try to dodge Disruptor shots with non-speed Roaches? It's like dodging Speed Banelings with Marines without stim. What's a real life example for someone who watches StarCraft but doesn't play? Have you guys ever just come out of back surgery and tried to play, what's it called, Limbo? Is that the game where you try to bend over? Yeah, it's like that. It's not possible. You can't do it. I don't care how good Elazer is, unless his roaches are pre-spread before the disruptor even fires, you're not dodging those disruptor shots. It's going to be impossible. He doesn't even have a lair starter. He's going up to 56 drones now. Oh, but he's got no gas. If he had Mass Ravager, maybe he could hold it back with Bile Micro, but he's only now taking a second, third, and fourth gas. He's been on that one gas that I was talking about from earlier in the game. It's that gas limitation, which is why he's been so heavy on the Queen Zergling, unable to deal with the mobility. He's going to go in with a very nice Ling run by, but a few adepts there do make it difficult for him. Watch out for the ball. Spore Crawler! Spore Crawler does big damage! Oh, no! Oh! But Elazer chases him too far. His Ling run by stopped. One heroic adept. She holds the door. She's got 9 kills, 10 kills. And oh my god, that is, yeah, wow. I mean, the supply is still so close. But Elazer's still massing Zerglings versus a mostly adept army. Glaive adepts in a ball are so good versus Zerglings. And there's just no gas in the bank for Elazer. He never got to make that gas transition. Not the best final disruptor shot there from MaxPax. But remember, MaxPax has a third up behind this. He is doing massive damage here. And I really love the change up from such a defensive game 1 and game 2 to a much more aggressive game 3. MaxPax playing the strategy game and says, I can't keep being predictable here. Elazer's got great macro in game 1. He had great killing timing in game 2. I'm going to be the one to take the momentum in game 3, and you can see that there's just only a trickle of units coming out. Ling's unable to contest that, and the 6 gate Glaive Adept is just so good for dealing with that. GG, well played.